Captain Lou Saban goes into a huddle with members of the defensive line.
Lou Saban played just 4 seasons of pro football, but he commanded such respect that on a Browns team with 7 future Hall of Famers, he was named captain.
Cleveland, he's jolted by the Browns' captain Lou Saban and loses his headgear in the act.
Case Institute hired the 29-year-old Saban as its coach in 1950. 5 years later, he was at Northwestern, heading a staff that included a graduate assistant named George Steinbrenner.
It was a great experience because you learned under Lou a discipline. That was very important. You learned under Lou a loyalty. Those 2 qualities are forever in my mind.
The Boston Patriots chose Saban as their first coach in 1960. 2 years later, he went to Buffalo, where he acquired players like quarterback Jack Kemp, number 15, and turned the last-place Bills into 2-time champions of the American Football League.
I played for Buddy Parker, Sid Gilman, for Vince Lombardi. But Lou Saban stands out among giants. He stands out. He was the dominant football coach in the American Football League in the middle 60s.
He was a person that could get as much as you had to give and a little more.
I just said to him, guys, I'm going to say things you may not like.
What the hell's the matter with you guys?
But just remember, I'm saying it because I think it's, at that moment, I was going to make you better than what you are.
My daughter could do better! My daughter could do better!
Just his tone of voice and his presentation of what he had to say. I could have run through 3 brick walls, at the time.
So we had a little table about 3 or 4 feet off the floor, and I jumped on this table at halftime.
He took his shirt off and he said, I'm 50 years old and I can whip every one of you guys. And he stood there with his hands clenched and he challenged each guy on the football team.
Come on up and challenge me. I want you to do better than what you're doing. And as I thought for a minute, and I said to myself, my God, I said, supposing one of those fellas would challenge me, they'd probably beat me up to smithereens. So I gently stepped off the table, and I said, sorry, guys, sorry, I just lost myself for the moment. And, of course, it cracked him up.
He spoke Mandarin Chinese fluently and would often do interviews with us in Mandarin Chinese.
And he gave the pep talk to the guys, ching, 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 chong, 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 ching, ching, ching. One of the defensive line raised hands, what are you saying, Coach? Something going to beat the heck out of the Jets.
And sometimes when he spoke English, it was even more confusing.
So he runs down the ramp and he jumps up on this big table. And he said, we've gone through everything that we could possibly go through. The only thing I could tell you is heads down, toes up. So Cookie and I went out the door, and Cookie comes back in and goes, what the hell does that mean? And Saban said, I don't know. I'm as nervous as you are. But by doing that, he relaxed our entire football team, and of course we beat the hell out of them and won the championship.
You got to make sure you know what makes them tick. And then you go ahead and put the throttle down and go.
Lou Saban made me a football player. He singled me out, telling me that I was either going to be a hitter rather than a pusher, or if I didn't learn to play the game quickly, that he was going to replace me. I'm in the Pro Football Hall of Fame because of him.